This is the third video in our Unit 5 on data. So this time we want to look at this situation where we have two variable data. We have some sort of category, and each member of each category is represented, in this case different countries, and for each one there's a number associated. In this case the gross domestic product, or the GDP, basically a measure of the size of the economy. And so again, it's like for each category there's a number associated with it. Okay, so what can we do with a situation like that? What we want to focus on is simply displaying that data rather than just looking at the table, the list of countries and dollar amounts. What could we do instead? What could we visually do so that it's more apparent what's going on? And so what we want to talk about here is called a bar graph. And so in a bar graph, so I have a different example here. What I have here is different countries, yes, but instead of having GDP, I have number of female children out of primary school. So children who should be in school, and in this case female children who are of the age that they should be in primary school, but for whatever reason they're not in school. And it's kind of a measure of trouble going on in that country, whether it's due to war or poverty or something like that. Something's not going right and it's preventing children who should be in school from going to school. And it might be a more particular issue with female children in particular. So there was a study done based on that. So here we have that data. So the original data would have just been a list of countries and the numbers next to them. But here we have it just in a more visual form, which is just easier to see, and you can immediately see where the numbers are big, which countries have the bigger numbers, which countries have the smaller numbers. So the categories go along the horizontal axis, one spot for each category, and then on each one we have a bar going upward, and it goes up to whatever the number corresponding number is. Now this one's a little bit fancy. We've got like little 3D cylinders for the bars, but in typical cases it would just be a rectangle going upward. So let's just try this out using that bar graph. First question, which country has more female children out of school, Saudi Arabia or Uzbekistan? So we find Saudi Arabia and Uzbekistan, they're the last two right here. And we can see that Saudi Arabia has a higher bar, about probably like 250,000 female children out of school, whereas Uzbekistan is 100,000 or maybe a little bit more, I'm not sure. So we would say Saudi Arabia has more. How many female children are out of school in the Philippines? Okay, so we go to the Philippines, and it looks to be about 400,000. Now obviously the exact number is almost certainly not precisely 400,000, but you know, with graphs and charts, sometimes we just approximate, we eyeball the number, and that's fine. Okay, so those are the basics of bar graphs, and you just want to be able to interpret and answer basic questions about a bar graph when it's presented to you.